Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, the Yorkshire Dales are well known for being stuffed with rabbits. We're after them with Whippets. So, you're 8 years old and you want to be in the Olympics. We talked to some of the country's top shooters about how they got started in the sport.
And I shot a plastic milk carton on the floor with a little 410.
First, Mark Gilchrist has been asked to the Royal Agricultural College in Cirencester. Is it because many of the students are lovely young ladies with large Scottish estates? No, he's going there for the shooting. The guys and girls in the Cirencester shooting team have a high opinion of themselves. We ask them to choose the adjective that best describes them.
Best!
Sporting shooter chef Mark Gilchrist is a guest today, the last of the pheasant season. They're a good gang of lads. You know one of them from home, don't you?
I know two of them from home. I know his father really well. He said, would you take him pigeon shooting? And we've been pigeon shooting, rabbit shooting and all that sort of stuff together. We used to go long netting, but as they tangled 300 yards of long nets the other night, that might be off the list. But yes, I do know them previously. And they said, we would love to be on the Fieldsports channel. And I said, I can sort it. Here we are.
And how do you describe this day?
Well, one of the students' father owns a farm. They very kindly let us have a walked up boundary day. Good hens or any cocks. We've had just a little walk round. The chap was a little bit nervous, hadn't gone so well, and we just had a fantastic drive there. And then we're probably going to have another couple of small drives and then maybe see what the beer's like in the local pub.
They compete in clay competitions, they enjoy game shooting on farms surrounding their college and beyond, and last week they shot 16 species over 2 days.
Because we're quite local, there's a few of us that are on the shooting team this year that are actually quite local, whereas last year that wasn't like that, so we didn't really get the opportunity to go off game shooting really as much.
So when Scotland sends down its farmers, the shooting club sort of dips a bit, and when Wiltshire sends its farmers, then it goes up again.
Yeah.
Above all, they are out to do what every shooter should be doing, enjoying themselves.
It's more about having a good day out, walk around with the chaps, and then that's what it comes down to.
We are on shooting captain Rory's farm, walking around the boundaries in 2 teams, one standing, one beating. Although everyone's grateful to Rory and his dad for letting them onto the place, the weight of responsibility for the day sits heavily on Rory's shoulders. Things do not start well.
He's a member of the RSPB, so...
Right, pubs are open now, aren't they?
Rory has to do what he promised himself he wouldn't do. Well, you promised we wouldn't do the pen, is that right?
No, we'll change it now and go back there, I think.
We are going to do the pen.
see what's about, I think.
Is that a terrible admission of failure?
Well, after my last shot, I think so, yeah.
The pen produces a couple of birds, but it's not as good as Rory hopes. They lost a lot of birds to foxes at the start of the season here. Being a keen hunting family, Rory, his father and keeper do not shoot the foxes here.
Saw that at home in Hampshire as well. They rather leave them for the hounds.
Well, obviously not for the hounds because that's illegal. But...
Oh, well, you know what I mean.
Then we go to walk up a game crop and Rory's fortunes change. Bird after bird gets up and flies well over the guns. George's shooting is superb and Will gets a right and left, which, says George, he will be hearing about all week. 2 dead in the air at once, must be reasonably happy about that.
Well, that was Will next to me actually.
Oh, was it Will?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
No, Will had 2 down there, so he'll be going on about that for the rest of the day, I think.
The rest of the week.
Won't hear the end of that. No, I had 2 quite nice ones there. Roy wants to leave quite a few of the hens, obviously for breeding and whatnot, so if it's a good bird, shoot it, but if it's low, then
leave it
let
for
it
next
go.
year. Yeah.
No, that was a good drive. Plenty of birds in there.
It has all turned into a marvellous morning's shooting. Is that what a student shooting day should be like?
I think it should be fun. I think these chaps are certainly a lot more keen on the shooting than they are going to the pub. They're a really good bunch of guys and they have a lot of fun doing it, so you can't fault it.
And girls as well, and they all seem to shoot quite straight too.
The girls?
Everybody.
Everybody, yes, no, they do. Apparently the lady who shoots is extremely proficient. I gather she worked at the Oxford Gun Company, so maybe she got some lessons there.
Mark Gilchrist there, the thinking woman's ugly rural bloke. Now to a better class of crumpet. It's David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Britain News. We start with the Hunting Act, and following recent support by the Prime Minister and other members of the Cabinet, the veterinary establishment have been giving their reasons why the ban is bad law.
Hunting is natural because the wild animal is hunted in an environment that it knows, and natural because hunting doesn't use any alien technology like shooting or snaring, for which the wild animal has no natural defence.
For the second time in just a couple of weeks, we've got deer crashing through shop windows in America. This particular window belongs to a library in Washington, DC, and the deer was caught on CCTV. The animal broke a jaw and was later caught and put down. Winners of the Countryside Alliance Awards, or Rural Oscars, are being announced by regions across the UK. National judging panel, which includes Clarissa Dixon-Wright, will choose the outright winner, which will be announced at the final in the House of Lords on the 7th of March. And finally, anglers know all about holding that fish well in front of them when that all-important photograph is being taken. Well, this African village takes a new world record for faking a record. This picture was posted on the internet. It didn't take long for experts to point out that the villagers are a long way behind the crocodile, which explains its apparently enormous size. You're now up to date with Fieldsports Britain News. Stalking the stories, fishing for fact.
Thank you, David. Lovely as ever. Now, some of the UK's top long dog people got in touch with us and asked if we would like to go chasing rabbits with whippets in the Yorkshire Dales. We said yes.
The Yorkshire Dales has a well-known rabbit problem. I'm on Wensleydale and we're working whippets. If we don't do it, these sheep go hungry. And, what's more, these guys love doing it. The walk up to the berries is a long, hard trudge. But imagine living up here. The few sprigs of tough grass provide thin pickings for sheep and rabbits alike. The day starts badly. John loses a ferret finder collar in the first berry and blames Darren.
We could cheat and say there's a rabbit down there and get that other rabbit.
But it's a collar.
It's a collar, yeah.
Come off, yeah.
Collar's come
So how much do those collars cost?
About 60 quid.
£62.
And how much does the ferret cost?
£5. But it is all about the animal's welfare. That's why we do have the collars on to begin with. Because it isn't fair just because a ferret's only worth pennies. You know, to leave it in a place like this to survive for itself. That's why we do put the collars on.
Happy?
Very. I will make sure I put my own collars on next time.
Then things get better and rabbits start bolting. Nigel and Darren are both nuts about whippets.
I help run a forum called Poachers Rest Forum, and we just want to say that, we want people to see that whippets are great little dogs. 20 years ago, Brian Plum was trying to create the all-round lurcher. He didn't have to look far, the whippet was there. They're the ant of the dog world. They punch so far above their own weight, and they can do anything a good lurcher can do. But you breed two whippets together, you get whippets. Breed two lurchers together, you haven't got a clue what you're going to get. So you might pay a little more, but you're saving money in the long run, and you're just getting a great little dog, as you can see, that can cope with any condition. Here we are in the Yorkshire Dales, in places 8 or 9 inches of snow. The dogs weren't cold and shivering, and they just carried on doing the job, as you saw.
Darren is one of the top dog people in the country. Nigel runs a forum too.
A friend of mine called Jeff Hutchins set up the forum a few years ago because basically there's quite a large sort of population of owners, if you like, really, who use whippets now for work, who might have traditionally owned lurchers, I suppose. And there really wasn't anywhere where they could go to sort of sound their opinions off. A lot of the traditional sort of whippet forums were based around showing and racing, and there wasn't really anything available for owners of people who like to work the Whippets. So we started the forum off, and it's been a great success, really, to be honest. We've got members from all over the world, and you know, we sort of work hand in hand with a lot of the other forums, including Darren's.
So of the two forums, who's got the biggest and the best forum then?
Oh, mine, of course, yeah. But I'm sure Darren would tell you that his was the best as well.
What's good is that the internet has brought them all together. Darren from East Anglia, Nigel from the West Midlands, and John from here in North Yorkshire. There is a great deal to learn from all of them, such as John's method of paunching a rabbit without using a knife. He says his dad wouldn't give him a knife until he learnt to do it this way. With all their years of long dog experience, they have strong views about the criminal end of working lurchers.
Yeah, so we're using Whippets today, but you're a lurcher man
Yes,
yourself,
yes, I'm advocate of the lurcher. I always have. I'm more of a traditionalist than the two guys.
We like to draw a line between the illegal use of lurchers.
Yes, I would like to draw a line through illegal coursing or even poaching. It's one of those. What a lot of people don't understand is it's the farmer's land. If you went and asked him, I'd say a good 8 times out of 10 he will let you on. He will let you on because you are providing a service. But if you decide to to pull up at a gate and climb over, he doesn't know you're there. The implications of you having an accident on his land, then he has to come out. He sees a car park. He's worried about his sheep. He's worried about the cattle. Are you going to leave gates open? And it just needs to know that you are there.
Nice hat, John. Always glad to publicise our friends at Basque. Now, it would not be ferreting if we did not lose ferrets. And there's always one or two that linger underground while we are waiting on the surface. The last rabbit from this series of berries has 2 ferrets attached to it. The Countryside Alliance campaigns for all field sports. We are committed to putting the hare back on the quarry list for whippets, lurchers and greyhounds alike. Visit www.countryside-alliance.org.uk.
February is a great month to get on top of wood pigeons. The birds are mature and everyone you knock down counts, as it prevents their future offspring from damaging crops later in the year. Team Wild's Killer and Wildie are in the middle of one of the busiest pigeon shooting months of their year. Today they're on a farm in Staffordshire and they're out to protect Farmer Fonte's precious rape crop from this winged menace.
I'm watching this field for a couple of days now and there's been quite a lot of wood pigeons coming in and feeding on it, so we're going to give it a go this morning and see if we can get some down with the decoys.
The first job is setting out the pattern, drawing those pigeons in like moths to a flame. Wildie looks after the real birds on the whirly.
In proper Blue Peter fashion, we've always carry a few in the freezer. So I fetched them out of the freezer last night to put them on the magnet so we're not waiting for anything to come in and have a shot. So when we set up and ready to rock, we're ready to rock, not waiting for anything to do the magnets or the dead bird cradles that we've got here. So I'm just going to whack these on now before we put the plastic ones out. You'll see the other pigeons going around on the magnets and on the dead bird cradles and they think, whoa, dinner time, look at them boys over there, and then they come. So it's just to bring movement into the pattern, which hopefully will get them all around here. The ones that are crossing over on the flight lines, and bring them into where we want to shoot them.
Killer is in charge of the plastic ones.
We've got some flock coated decoys here. Pigeons just shell decoys, but they've got a flock coating on them. It stops the sun shining, any bright light shining back off them. Just takes a bit of glare off them, makes them a bit more realistic. So we're going to put these out in a bit of horseshoe pattern. The idea being we'll bring the birds straight down the middle of us, straight to the shooting zone. Putting these birds up today on like a spring-loaded peg just adds a bit of movement. The idea is you want to try and get as much movement into your decoy pattern as well. That's why we have the whirlies, the flappers and these. Decoys into the wind, so they're facing into the wind, so that any wind catches the bird and just gives it that slight bit of movement. It just makes it more attractive to the passing pigeons.
This is not a kit-light sport. The boys have a pile of equipment to take into the field, and once there, everything has its place. However, this new lightweight hide could save you lugging around a few extra pounds with its special telescopic legs.
So it's just a case of unlatching these at the back, sliding the hide up, clipping the latches back down again, Just pull them all up together at the same time. Making sure you don't pull them out of the ground. And there you have one half of a pigeon hide.
Decoys should face more or less into the wind, and the hide must be a masterpiece of camouflage. It's a good thing the boys are top to toe in realtree.
So, does Keith have problems dressing himself?
All the time. That's why we usually find we have to take Carol everywhere with us.
It's true.
Once everything is in its place and the countryside has settled back down, the pigeons start pouring in. There's little food at this time of year. The birds go for anything that looks promising, and these decoys are full of promise. Of course, it's not all hard graft, and the banter between the lads is as regular as a shot.
Okay, we've just been up to have a look for that one that Stephen shot. We found a patch of feathers up there where it stopped, got its breath back, had a bit of a laugh, and then carried on. But no body, so it's a no-kill.
Well, that's pigeon shooting, eh? It's better than being at work, innit? Definitely.
Having two people in a hide is sociable,
It's going down,
but it
it's
has
going
its
down,
safety
don't
issues
laugh,
too,
don't laugh,
of
it's
which
going.
Killer and Wildy are keenly aware.
Safety's on.
There are some good shots and some excellent shots, which of course the camera misses.
This cameraman's been a bit ropey today. He's missed a couple of shots of yours.
Yeah, well, it's good like that because I like Nick. He's a nice man, but you know what I mean. Professional. We use the word loosely around here.
At least Bracken is on hand to prove all the birds really did hit the deck.
We take Bracker everywhere with us. She's very reliable, very steady in the hide. One of the best springers I've ever known. In fact, she even drives Keith home from the pub every now and again. She's that clever.
There are moments to keep a gun safe, and there are moments when a gun needs to be dangerous, such as when a pigeon is coming into the pattern. And in those dangerous moments, it's good to know you've got the right gun.
Today we've been shooting this Armsan A612 semi-auto shotgun, imported into the UK through Viking Arms. Cracking bit of kit, comes up well, no recoil, and for a budget price shotgun it really is good. We've both shot it today, we've both shot fairly well with the gun, got a decent bag, very impressed with it.
So, what did Team Wild think of the shooting today?
We've had a great day, we've shot 32 pigeons, we've still got two to pick that went off into an ash tree. We watched them, we're hoping they'll be dead under there. We'll go and fetch them in a bit. Like I say, we've had a great day shooting, both had good fun. We're just going to go around now and make sure that we've picked up all the cartridges, all the bags, everything, make it nice and tidy and leave the ground as we found it.
For more about the Armsan A612 shotgun the lads are using, visit www.vikingarms.com. Team Wild TV will be back with a vengeance next Wednesday. Visit www.teamwild.tv.
How did you get into shooting? Well, here's how some of our top shots did it. Here are the top reasons people say they don't want to try shooting. I don't have a licence. I don't have a gun. I'm frightened of guns. I couldn't hit a barn door. And you need to start shooting when you are a kid. Sound familiar? Well, here are two people who started shooting less than a dozen years ago, and they are both representing their country and winning medals in the sport. Abbey Burton won silver at the Commonwealth Games in 2010, held in India. Peter Wilson earned Great Britain an extra Olympic place when he won silver in the 2011 Shooting World Cup in Chile.
Well, I started shooting with my grandfather. He basically took me out and I shot a plastic milk carton on the floor with a little 410. So that's how I first started, and then he sent me on for lessons up at EJ Churchill's in High Wycombe. I was then spotted by a county representative, in which then got me into trap shooting. I met some friends in trap shooting and then went on to the GB selections and then on to compete as a junior abroad.
I was mad keen on cricket and squash at school, and they were certainly my main sports. I damaged my shoulder. I dislocated my left shoulder and broke the nerves. and had to have a number of operations, which meant that I had to give up every sort of sport that I'd been involved in at that time. I had shot before, but never in a sort of serious capacity. The physios were very keen that I held a weight in my left hand, and so shooting was a great sport to do. Every Wednesday we were going out with the school and shooting. So the physios were keen I carried on, so I carried on, and when I came back to everything else I was pretty rubbish. So I decided to carry on with shooting, and I was really enjoying it by then. And I left school as sort of national champion, and was just really enjoying my shooting.
Stephen Walton is another top double trap shooter.
My godfather owns the shooting ground on his land, which was fantastic, just down the road from where I live in Redditch. Just went there as a kid, really, progressed from there, really. County level, shooting down the line, sporting, and then obviously onto England, shooting down the line, then Great Britain for double trap.
George Digweed is probably the best known clay shooter in the world. In a competition career spanning 4 decades, he has won 19 world titles in the discipline of sporting and fitask, which is what most people shoot in the UK.
I started when I was about 12 to 14. We had a family butcher's business, and when grandfather used to take me out shooting, I was given a 410 to carry empty. In my view, I was given correct grounding. And, shooting went on from there, really, and I became competitive. I am competitive by nature in whatever I do, and wanted to take clay shooting further because I felt, I was, possibly had a talent at it. And the rest is history, really.
How old were you when you won your first kind of memorable competition?
For me, my first major win was to win the Home International Skeet Championship shooting 200 straight in 1986 at Melton Mowbray Gun Club, and that was, for me, my, the career-defining moment that said to me when I was driving home, I can do this at the top level.
Clay shooting is a broad church covering all kinds of shotgun sports. Whether you do it at the top level like George, Stephen, Abby and Pete, or whether you simply enjoy a few shots around a playground with mates, it is fun and just as accessible as golf or tennis. To answer those people who say they don't want to try shooting, well, you don't need a licence. You don't have to own a gun, which are nothing to be frightened of. You don't need to start shooting as a kid. Many people take it up late in life, and you can hit a target a lot smaller than a barn door after just one lesson. Shooting takes a few minutes to learn, a lifetime to master. The CPSA is the governing body for clay shooting in England. It is a membership organisation committed to bringing more people into the sport, as commercial manager Simon Barber explains.
If you're trying to attract people into the sport, you don't want to frighten them by thinking they've got to attain a certain level of achievement from day one. Nobody does. Interestingly enough, we were talking with George Digweed at Bisley Live very recently, and he was advocating encouraging people to come into the sport at any level, not necessarily with the aspiration of achieving gold at the Commonwealth Games, but actually just to get a taste for the sport, find out which discipline of clay shooting suits them, and then further develop their abilities there to the level that suits them. Again, it doesn't have to be competitive level shooting.
For more about how to start shooting, go to www.cpsa.co.uk. Well, that's enough for this week. We're back next week, and if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere on the outside of the screen there, or go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, scroll down to the bottom and pop your email address into our constant contact box, and we will clog up your inbox weekly with news of our programme, or you can click to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Many people say, what have we got coming up next week? We have no idea.